My father stopped being my father to be a parent to his stepchildren and neglected me, but everything exploded because his wife found out that I own everything they have. My mom died when I was 7. My father, also known as step-siblings' dad, remarried a year later. His new wife had 3 kids. He said she wanted a dad for her kids and he wanted a mom for me. I remember telling him I didn't want a new mom. He said I would understand later. My step-siblings' dad basically stopped doing anything alone with me. No more camping nights in the backyard or movie nights, which we had done every week for years. Nothing. He spent time with all his new kids to bond. It's been 11 years and he still doesn't have time for me because he's bonding with them. He stopped coming to my games when I got to HS. His wife and I have nothing in common. I play 3 sports and I'm on the speech team. She's very girly and likes girl trips to buy clothes and makeup at different malls. She knows I don't want to go but just tells my step-siblings' dad that she invited me. I have a teammate I play 2 sports with. Her parents have become like my own. She said she is totally fine with it. I've made sure all the time because I don't want to take someone else's parents, but she's always the one to invite me over, and brings her parents to my swim meets because she knows no one will be there for me. Invited me to go shopping for Mother/Father's Day gifts and said they're from both of us. Her parents get me holiday gifts and say I'm always welcome. Senior night at basketball. I told her my step-siblings' dad isn't going to walk me around the floor because he doesn't even come to games. She asked her dad to walk both of us and he was happy to. In a small town, they made the paper because they thought it was sweet. My step-siblings' dad flipped out and took us all to therapy. He asked why he hadn't been asked. I said because he didn't come to games. He said he didn't know I played basketball anymore. I asked if that's why he didn't come to swim or softball when he couldn't miss A and B's practices, or come to speech meets when he went to C's dance recitals. He just stared at me and said he didn't know I still did those either. I asked why he talked for days about B's camping trip but didn't ask about my senior trip to Mexico. He said he didn't know I went. I said he signed the form. He admitted he didn't read it. I asked if he remembered the last time I called him dad. He said he didn't know I stopped. I said May 13, 2021. He said that was the day his stepchildren started. I said I know. You stopped being my dad when you started being theirs. I walked out of therapy. Edit. I'm getting some info on my trust and belongings it paid for. My friend's dad tried to confront my step-siblings' dad about why I can't go over anymore but he just shut the door on him and I check in daily with my friend or her parents via phone. My step-siblings are all mad at both their parents and are very supportive. Update. 4 days later, after my last post, my stepmother wanted us all to go to the lake house. That's her happy place/safe space/sanctuary she says, and it's her answer to everything. Wants the boys out. She sends my bio father and her sons to the lake house. Time with her daughter. Lake house. Time alone. Lake house by herself. She does photography there and she's right. It does look like a postcard. 2-story cabin style. They never took me for the girls' trips or boys' trips, only when everyone went together. My step-siblings won't call bio father dad anymore. My stepmother said if he isn't their dad and she isn't my mom, why are they even married? Bio F asked if she wanted a divorce and she said she didn't sign up for the drama. They argued and we went to hang out by the lake. We've been getting along great now against the parents, which I didn't see coming. Anyway, we went back to therapy yesterday and my stepsis brought up our getting divorced. Bio father said not if they can work it out in therapy. The therapist asked if it could be amicable cause it's obvious they're cold to each other. Stepmother said her kids could see bio father but she would just want her place. He said that wasn't possible because it's actually mine. After all, my mom had it before they were married and it's part of the prenup. Stepmother was livid and ugly and cried, mad all the way home. Then asked about the house we live in. My father tried to get her out of the kitchen but she screamed and he admitted that my grandpa gave it to my mom as a wedding gift before they were married. Turns out he won't let me move out because the house has actually been mine since I turned 18. She said split the savings because they had been living way below their means. He told her most of the savings/certificates of deposits were accounts set up for me by mom's parents. She has been crying in her room and says I'm selfish for not letting her have a lake house my great-grandfather built and gave to my grandfather who gave it to my mom. Update 2. A lot of people have been asking how things are going. Way more than I expected, so here we go. I'm about to leave for college. Yay! As of right now my bio father and his wife, for now, are still living in my house and paying rent. I got a lawyer and they suggested retroactive rent as well. This will only go back to my 18th birthday and I officially owned the house. My lawyer got me in touch with a good account that he uses for cases like this, who went over everything that is in my trust and savings with the person at the bank who oversaw giving me my allowances from my trust. My bio father hadn't taken any money directly from my accounts because they were unavailable until I turned 18 except for the one I used for daily use. I always got receipts that came out even, so I'm not worried about those. I did learn more about the property I own. This actually came out before the lawyer and accountant because my stepmother wanted some other property that's mine. There is a beach house she wanted and a smaller house that gets rented out and the money goes to one of my accounts. She was furious she didn't get either. She and my bio father bicker and honestly it's hilarious. Her, why didn't you ever tell me that none of the money was yours? Him, if money was so important to you, why didn't you ever get a job? Also, I may get their cars because my bio father had terrible credit and used my house to get the loan as collateral. Same with the boat. She's a lot madder than him. My step-siblings don't even speak to my bio father anymore because they feel like he made them the bad guys, and I told them he didn't and it wasn't their fault at all.